Welcome to Wakizashi's Tea House. Gray's Pick and Mix. Hello, good evening from Japan. It's Monday night here, 8 PM. I hope you're good. Hope you're Genki. Where were we? I've got Spidey. I've got my Spidey t-shirt on now. I know it makes me look very pale because I've got a pale face anyway and a white t-shirt, but how cool is that? Come on, it's great. I actually got this in, what's it called? Not Uniqlo. Yeah, is it Uniqlo? I think it was Uniqlo. They sometimes have like special offers or not rare t-shirts, but they have these different comic book based or manga based, anime based t-shirts. So I'm very happy to get this. And on the back, if you can see, where are we? What's the best way? Does it even show it? On the back you've got Venom. You see Venom? Anyway. Hey! Mick Cope in the house. Guten Tag from Deutschland. Mick, am I coming through okay? Can you hear me? I always get paranoid at the beginning. Hope you're good, man. It's Gray's Pick and Mix comic book show, so I tell you, I'm a bit scatterbrained. I was getting things ready, then suddenly it was time to start. So, what we're doing then, what we're talking about today. It's been a strange week. It's been a very hot and humid week, apart from today. Finally cooled down a little bit today. It's been crazy hot over here. 37 degrees, which is about 96, 97 Fahrenheit. And very high humidity. Bit quiet, am I? Okay. Oh well, never mind. So, what we're going to do... I don't know what I'm doing. First of all, let's talk about last week's comic book recommendations. Was there anything good out last week? That is the question. Let's see. I think there was, and I did do a few videos last week. I did, my goodness, what did I do? I did 2 fantastic fantasy comic book videos last week. The first one, of course, was Conan the Barbarian, new series from Titan Comics. Titan UK. And that's written by Jim Zub with art by Roberto De La Torre. Very good. And he also did a review of Fire and Ice issue 1, which is a prequel to a 1983 animated movie by Frank Frazetta and Ralph Bakshi. And that was very good too. Had really good art by Leonardo Manco. Great name. Okay, let's see if I can share screens, because otherwise, like DC and Marvel wise, there wasn't a lot out last week. Where are we? Preset. Okay. Can you see? There we go. Yeah, so with August being a 5-week month, well, with 5 Tuesdays or Wednesdays anyway, they have some annuals coming out, but they normally come out at the end of the month, like the final week. Marvel decided to drop their Amazing Spider-Man annual the first week, and it wasn't very good. I didn't even bother reviewing it. It wasn't written by the regular writer. It wasn't Zeb Wells. It was written by, I think it's Erica Schultz, who's been writing Hallows Eve. I think she's a fairly new character. Hallows Eve is not sure if she's a villain or a hero yet, but she can like get powers of Halloween masks. Sounds crazy, I know. So she puts on a werewolf mask and becomes a werewolf or gets werewolf powers. Gets a ghost mask, and then she can, disappear and go through walls and stuff. So it's quite a good concept, but I don't think it was selling very well. Not very popular. So that's that. From where are we? From DC, there's nothing really there in the top row. As I say, I didn't review anything. There was the Justice Society of America, issue 5 came out. Then we scroll down. We've got Adventures of Superman John Kent. I think that finished. Batman, The Night Terror's Batman issue 2. No, I'm not going near it because issue 1 was so disappointing. It was terrible. There's a Joker issue 2 as well. The Night Terrors again. Poison Ivy. No. There we go. There was one. I didn't review it, but I did read here. Night Terror's Ravager issue 2. First one was pretty good, but this one was kind of like, not a lot actually happened. So, yeah. Go down one more row. Now, I didn't review this one, but I do recommend it. Let's click on it. The Sacrificers, issue 1. This is from Image Comics. It's written by Rick Remender, and it's got art by Max Fiumara, who I do like. I like his work from the most recent Lucifer series, and also he's done quite a bit of work on Hellboy. So I think Lobster Johnson, was it? Maybe. Anyway, cool, good artist. So yeah, this was pretty good. It was, what's the word? Kind of a fantasy themed start with anthropomorphic characters in there as well as human-esque characters. Let's just have a quick read of the synopsis to let you know. It says here, tomorrow is a harmonious paradise thanks to 5 families who make everything perfect for the price of 1 child per household. Oh my god. Now, as that bill comes due, a son expected to give everything for a family that never loved him, and an affluent daughter determined to destroy utopia must unite to end 1 generation's unnaturally protracted reign. Sounds a bit complicated, but yeah, it was decent. A few reviews for it, and it seems to have done quite well. 4 stars, 5 stars there. 4, yeah, people seem to enjoy it. The art's gorgeous, by the way, by Fiumara. Really like his art. But Rick Remender, I've heard mixed things about him. I don't know if you've read his stuff. Let's go back. Okay. The YouTube page. The stream isn't even running according to this. How bizarre. Okay, there we go. Let's stop sharing that. So, what else was there? What else was out last week? As I say, do check out the reviews of both Conan and Fire and Ice. I think they were pretty decent. Today I managed to finish editing the kind of joint review that me and Jim from Weird Science Comics do. We're doing Grant Morrison's work, and we did Animal Man issue 1, the first one, Grant Morrison. Now, believe it or not, that was released back in 1988. How crazy is that? Yeah, it was good. It was great to go back to it. Real kind of nice focus on the family dynamic of Buddy Baker and his family, and setting up a little bit of the animal, of course, animal themes in there. But there's a weird villain, weird character called is it the Boana Beast, and not a major character, not very well known, but I think he can take the powers of maybe primates, not quite sure, and he's being tortured by these screaming monkey voices in his head. Sounds a bit scary. So he goes to investigate, and of course they're doing experiments on monkeys and chimpanzees and apes at the Star Labs. So yeah, that was good to go back to that. Art was pretty cool. It's a bit dated now, you know. Think about it. End of the 80s, 88, so what's that? It's like 88, 98, 2008, 2018. We're talking 35 years ago. Mamma mia. That's crazy. What were you doing 35 years ago? Were you buying comics? That's the question. And there was an issue of Spawn. Came out last week. I haven't actually been able to read it yet. Didn't pick it up. I've kind of dropped off Spawn, but I will be picking up Gunslinger, which is out next week. So looking forward to that. Gunslinger's been very good. Where are we? Hey, it's Nerdporial. Very early in the morning for you, mate. How you doing? Hope you're good. Hope you're genki. Are you reading comics? No, of course you're not, are you? There is one more I want to show. Let me just share the screen again. So this is going back to last week. Now, I've not been reading very many of, hardly any X-Men titles, but check this out. Magneto, issue 1. This was good. This was decent. Somebody shared a copy with me, so I was able to read it, and it's written by J.M. DeMatteis. If you remember him, he's pretty old now, but he's done some great comic runs in the past. And it's kind of, this is set in the past. Okay, let's give you a quick look through the synopsis. Magneto burst onto the scene as the most diabolical of evil mutants, but when Professor Xavier must leave the planet for life-saving treatment, Magneto inherits a new title, Teacher, Sensei, with the new mutants under his tutelage. So that's right, it's a time when Charles has to go off-world to get healed, and Magneto takes over at the school, teaching the young, the new mutants. So this was very good, and it's got art by Todd. Is it Todd Nook? I never know how to pronounce him. Nauck. Todd Nook. Sounds a bit Canadian. It was good. It was fun. 36 pages, so quite a long story. Decent art. I recommend it if you've got any interest in the X-Men, looking for a good kind of throwback to, when the X-Men stories were really good. Do check this out. I enjoyed that. Okay, let's go back. So, Napoleon saying he watched the Star Trek musical episode. Was it really? I've heard it was the worst stuff ever. It's a bit of a nightmare. I can't believe they made that. What are they trying to do? They think they're a Buffy, don't they? Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but without the wit or the intelligence. Deary me. So you're still sticking with Strange New Worlds, are you, Napoleon? I'm impressed. I don't know how you do it, man. Okay, let's get rid of that last week's banner. So, what is coming out this week? That's what we want to know. Let's have a look. Here we go. Let's go back and share. Where are we? New comics this week. So starting from Tuesday, which is tomorrow. Tuesday, August the 8th. For DC, we have a Superman annual. $5.99 for this. I'll just have a quick look at it. It does say it's 48 pages. And I think there will be a few writers on here. We've got Joshua Williamson is credited as the main writer. Okay, because he's doing the series at the moment. So yeah, I think it's just him, sorry. But there are a few different artists. We have Mahmoud Azrar, Jackson Herbert, Caitlin Yarsky, Max Rayner, Edwin Gallman. Wow, that's a lot of artists. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 variant covers. Interesting. Let's have a quick read of the synopsis. Metropolis's secrets are revealed. Lois Lane is now editor-in-chief of the Daily Planet, but at heart she'll always be an investigative reporter. And lately Metropolis has had a whole new set of secrets she must uncover. Even if it means investigating her own husband. Oh my God, what are you doing, Lois? Featuring Livewire, Parasite and Mercy. This special issue is your next big puzzle piece, leading to a massive Superman crossover in 2024. Interesting. Don't miss out. But man, $5.99. I mean, the regular Superman title is $4.99 now, and that's just for regular pages, no backup story. I know for annuals they usually do charge a little bit more, but you wonder, don't you, will it be worth it? Is it just going to be one story, or will there be some backup stories in there? Have to see. I'm going to sneeze, so I'm going to go mute a sec.
What was the bang?
They must have a blowout. Damn it! I knew I should have gotten that spare tire fixed.
Sorry about that. Sneezing my head off. I think it's the aircon. Okay, so that's Superman annual. Let's go back. What else from DC stands out? We have the Night Terrors. Night Terrors, Night Terrors. Issue 3 coming out. Issue 2 was not very good. And then scroll down to the next row. World's Finest Teen Titans, issue 2. Now this might be worth a look. I did pick up issue 1. There is a review of it on my channel if you want to check that out. It's got really good art by Emanuela Lupacino. Good grief. Great name. And by the way, if you notice these days, not just with DC but Marvel too, the propensity for using European or South American artists mainly. Yeah, interesting that, isn't it? Anyway, Donna Troy joins the team, it says here. Welcome to Metropolis, Wonder Girl. Hoping to reconnect with her human roots, Donna Troy leaves Themyscira for the City of Tomorrow. There she meets Mal Duncan, a young man with the makings of a true hero, and just in time too. The Titans will need all the help they can get as they investigate a cry for help that leads them to a haunted house. Wow. Where all is not what it seems. Sounding good? What do you think? Here we go. Maybe not. Okay. So that's for the DC titles that kind of jump out. Otherwise, there's the the Night Terror series. You've got Night Terror's Green Lantern issue 2, Night Terror's Robin issue 2, The Flash issue 2, Shazam, and Zatanna, which was my favourite from a month ago. That was really good. I liked issue 1 because it's got Cliff Steele, Robot Man from Doom Patrol. He teams up with Zatanna, and the tagline was Hex and Violence. Anyway, but yeah, it was good. It had good art. I'm looking forward to picking that up. I'll hopefully get a review of that done tomorrow on my channel. Tuesday. Where are we? There's a new issue of Batman Incorporated, which has been pretty good. Spirit World number 4 comes out, and yeah, that's pretty much it for DC. Okay, let's get to Marvel. This is what you want to hear. This is the one you want to hear. It's The Amazing Spider-Man issue 31. Look at this. $9.99. It's $10. The reason for that is it's Legacy issue number 925. Special oversized issue. It's the wedding of the year. Peter Parker is the best man. That's right. Peter's not getting married. Of course he isn't. Tombstone is walking the bride down the aisle. That's right. Janice Lincoln and Randy Robertson are tying the knot. Who, I hear you ask? And there's no way all the crime bosses in New York City aren't seeing this as an opportunity to off Tombstone. I think it's Tombstone's daughter and Robbie Robertson's son. There we go. This story sets up our big spider event of Zeb Wells and John Romita Jr.'s second year on ASM. And that's just the half of it. Also in this issue, bachelorette parties. Great. Other ASM story preludes and glimpses of some of the biggest unannounced spider projects and extra bonus awesomeness. Good grief, who wrote that? Nick Lowe. We've got credited on here Zeb Wells, Dan Slott as writers, Cara Andrews as artists, Patrick Gleason, Mark Bagley, David Lopez. Wow. I think some of these might be cover artists. Not quite sure. And yeah, Paco Medina, Emilio Leso. You see what I mean? There's a running theme here, isn't there? Albert Monteas, Ze Carlos Albagles. Penciler, John Romita Jr. Inker, Scott Hanna. Okay, I wonder how this is going to be. How many variant covers have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Unbelievable, isn't it? 14 variant covers. Will you be picking it up? That's the question. Okay. Well, let's go back. So, and what else have we got from Marvel? We have Immortal X-Men 14. Not interested. What's weird here is that there's a Spider-Man annual as well. So last week you had the Amazing Spider-Man annual, which wasn't, had nothing to do with the main series. It was a Ben Reilly story. And now we've got Spider-Man annual number 1. What's this about? Is that the annual to the Dan Slott, alternate series? Contest of Chaos, it says here. The Contest of Chaos begins. Oh my god, is Marvel doing another event? It's Spider-Man versus Wolverine. Agatha Harkness is building a new Darkhold, and she's pitting Earth's mightiest heroes against each other to do it. First on her list is Spider-Man, whose regular day is turned upside down when he involuntarily walks through a portal to a remote magical city and is attacked by Wolverine. Stephanie Phillips is writing that. Good grief. And it's got art by Alberto Foche. No idea. Skipping people. Someone's saying I'm skipping this, and then someone's saying, "Oh sweet, I love Stephanie Phillips." Any official news about Contest of Chaos? No idea. I haven't heard anything about it. Okay, there we go. So that's enough from Marvel. What I want to show you is this one. Scroll down to the second row. 1, 2, 3, 4 long. Gunslinger Spawn issue 23 is coming out. First of all, look at this cover. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Nice. Okay, so this is still being written by Todd McFarlane. It's got art by Brett Booth. Now that Dakota's true identity has been revealed, the gunslinger needs to make a tough decision. Can he trust her? Or does he put a bullet in her head? Still priced at $2.99. Look at that. $2.99. Marvel, DC. Great cover. And good old Image, they only do one variant cover. That's a variant by Kevin Keane. Very atmospheric, pretty cool. Do you like Gunslinger Spawn's hat, by the way? Some people are people that I know are kind of laughing at it, saying it's a bit bonkers, but I think it's cool. I think he keeps his knives up there. Okay. So, that's all that's really standing out for the new releases coming up. What about indies? Apart from Gunslinger Spawn, we have House of Slaughter. It's up to issue 16. Not reading that. Next row down. Whoa. Nope. Okay. Don't know. Nothing jumping out. There is one that caught my eye for some reason. Check this out here. There's a series from Titan. Speaking of Titan, we know I was talking about them with the brilliant Conan issue last week. But we have a series called Heat Seeker. Can you guess why this cover caught my eye? Anyway, it says here, well, there's a quote from Ed Brubaker, who's not writing it, but he says, the finest kind of pulp noir. Now that joking aside, like, that did catch my eye, not just the cover, but okay, it's like, okay, pulp noir, that sounds pretty good. But I've heard nothing about the series. I don't know if anyone out there is reading it or if you know it. It said it's written by Charles Ardai, and it's got art by Ace Continuado. There's no, like, discussion about it, nothing there. Let's have a quick read of the synopsis anyway. Okay, award-winning writer and co-founder of the hard case crime, Charles Ardai returns to the Gun Honey universe in his action-packed spin-off featuring the sultry and explosive artwork of Ace Continuado. Is that a real name? I reckon that's a pen name. When the heat is on, Dahlia Racers can help you disappear for a price. Marked for death by a US intelligence agency, Gun Honey Joanna Tan turns to Dahlia Racers to help her pull a vanishing act. But the killer, hot on the trail, beautiful sociopath Sarah Claride, will leave bodies strewn from New York to Las Vegas to Tijuana. Even if it means cornering Dahlia and breaking her. $3.99, it says 32 pages. I'm curious to jump in and see what that's like. It's hard case crime. If it gets recommendation from Ed Brubaker, it might be good. What do you think? Napoleon's asking, is Dan Slott the ass? Dan Slott. Dan Slott was the one who... he was on Spider-Man for absolutely years. I think it was something like a 10-year run a long time ago. He was on it what seemed like forever. And he's famous for being a bit of a curmudgeon. Also, oh my god, what's happening? Stop sharing. My internet signal is looking very low. There, that's better. He became kind of, not famous, infamous for a kind of short documentary that was on the Marvel, what is it, Disney Plus thing. Yeah, Disney Plus app. And it was a kind of interview showing how he writes a comic book. And he came across really, really poorly. You know, he was kind of like, sounded like he left things till the last minute. The letterers, colourers, they were kind of not complaining directly, but they were like, he makes life very hard for them, allegedly, by what they were saying. It just sounds like he's making it up as he goes along. But anyway, yeah, he just did not come over very well at all. And that's it, that's Dan Slott. Okay, so that's it for new comics coming up. Where are we? Let's get to my banners, turn that off. So what's next? New Shonen Jump. Here we go. Let's take a risk with sharing it. Let me know if the audio or anything goes weird, because I'm just doing this on the fly. Here we go. Shonen Jump is up to issue 36 for 2023. Now, it's got a One Piece cover. It features One Piece. It's chapter 1089 of One Piece. Still going strong. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Let's have a closer look at the cover. It's not just One Piece, but he's the main thing on the cover there. You've got a load of characters in the background. It's like 55 years of Shonen Jump, so I think they're having a celebratory year. But very, very cool. And who else is in this? Is it Akane Banashi? Yeah, there she is. Is that up to 73? Wow. So we've got Akane Banashi 73, Sakamoto Days 130, One Piece, of course, Blue Box, Jujutsu Kaisen, up to chapter 231. My Hero Academia is now on to 396. Man, it's crazy, isn't it? It's amazing how long some of these manga runs go for. Yeah, I know that they're only shorter chapters, but still. Yeah, they're the ones that stand out. So it's always interesting to have a look at Shonen Jump. I sometimes pick it up here just for a bit of a Japanese benkyo, Japanese study, but it's difficult. And it's so big, it's like a telephone book. Absolutely huge. Okay, so that's it for Shonen Jump. So this is looking like it's going to be a quick episode this week. I do have some comic book news, but before that, I've got a random comic pulled up. Here's what I prepared earlier by my side. Check this out. It's Constantine Hellblazer, the original Hellblazer, issue 250. I've just been reading this just out of curiosity to see how it was. This was a kind of festive issue. It came out in February 2009, so that means it was like probably the Christmas issue, and it has a roster of writers, including, I think it's the first time I've read something by him, not drawn by him, but writer Dave Gibbons. You know, Dave Gibbons, very famous for covers. And wait a minute, Dave Gibbons, I always get Dave Gibbons and David Lloyd mixed up. Yeah, he wrote a story called Happy New Effing Year. Then there was Christmas Cards by writer Jamie Delano with art by David Lloyd. That takes you back, doesn't it? Let's have a quick look at that. David Lloyd, most famous probably, or most well known for V for Vendetta. He's got a real distinctive art style, as you can see there. Look at that. Cool. And Jamie Delano, who wrote the original Hellblazer run before Garth Ennis took over from issue 40. And who else is in there? There's a story called All I Goat for Christmas. All I Goat for Christmas. Writer Brian Azzarello and art by Raphael Grandpa. Let's have a quick look at the art. I'll give you a look at it. Oh, I do miss Hellblazer. It's a shame they don't publish it anymore. Bit of a weird one. Interesting style. That's showing up. There we go. Yeah. I've heard Raphael Grandpa's name more recently, and I'd forgotten he'd done a story in this, but no, this is like 14 years ago. And we also have The Curse of Christmas by Peter Milligan, art by Eddie Campbell. Very, very cool. What was that one like? That's the goat. Again, a very cool indie style there. Eddie Campbell. Peter Milligan, of course, he wrote it for a while as well. And the final story is by a writer of science fiction and fantasy, whose name I always butcher. Is it Sheena Mieville? I always call him China Mieville, whatever you call him. Moby Dick? No, it's just a short story called Snow Had Fallen. Where are we? Quick look there. Pretty cool. Let's see, who's the artist on that? Giuseppe Camuncoli. Wow. So yeah, very cool to reread that. I've enjoyed it. Back in the days of Vertigo. Okay. So finally, a bit of comic book news. It's a random article I picked from CBR.com. Let's just share this and we'll talk. Batman. It caught my eye because it is the 15 darkest Batman comics, which are now available on DC Universe Infinite, by the way, which we can't get in Japan. It's basically it's their version of Marvel Unlimited, so it's a DC app. Let me know what you think of these and how many have you read. This is by Guillermo Curtin, and it was written 19 hours ago, so it's quite recent. So, in no particular order, they're not like in a countdown order, it's just these are the dark Batman stories. We have A Death in the Family, the classic story. I remember buying that in individual issues back in the day. This was a famous story where readers could phone in. There was a hotline on whether Robin lived or died. Now, I didn't, of course, because I probably would have got charged a fortune phoning from the UK to America back in the day. But yeah, Jason Todd was brutally murdered by the Joker, or was he? That's the question. So I do remember that. The next one they listed is Shaman, which was one of the, I think it was the opening, Legend of the Dark Knight story by Dennis O'Neil. Yeah, the first arc of the series. It took place shortly after the events of Year 1. Pretty cool. Shaman blends street-level grit with foreboding mysticism. Next we have Venom. This was another Legend of the Dark Knight miniseries. Again, it's by... Was this by Dennis O'Neil again? Yeah, he teamed up with Russell Brand. Okay. Unlike other dark Batman tales, Venom isn't so grim in an overt sense. Rather, its premise and psychological elements are what portrays a somber narrative and atmosphere. That's right, this is the one where Batman fails to save a young girl from drowning, and he gets hooked on Venom, doesn't he? And it also sows the seeds for one of Batman's most brutal villains, Bane. Next we have Death of the Family, not Death in the Family, Death of the Family. That's a New 52, Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo. Reimagined the Joker in some disturbing ways. Is that the one where like he ends up taking his face off? Oh my god. Then we have Endgame, again by Snyder and Capullo. I haven't read this one. I read The Death of the Family, but not this one. In a library saturated with Joker-centric stories, Endgame genuinely stands as a milestone tale involving the villain of the modern era. Endgame characterises him as a uniquely sinister way, redefining the classic Batman-Joker dynamic, even incorporating slasher horror elements. There we go. Next on the list is Gothic. I used to have that as well in individual issues. This was a Grant Morrison 5-parter. It followed the opening Shaman 5-parter with art by Klaus Janson. It told an early career Batman story where the hero is forced to confront the supernatural. Then we have Batman the Cult. Jim Starlin's best known Batman story is A Death in the Family, but he teamed up with the artists Bernie Wrightson and Bill Ray for a compelling miniseries titled The Cult. I think this was one of those, what do you call it, like a limited special, prestige format miniseries, wasn't it? It wasn't part of the Legends of the Dark Knight. I think I had it, but I can't remember for sure. In this story arc, a charismatic new villain named Deacon Blackfire seeks to incite a bloody uprising throughout Gotham. There we go. Then we have Dark Knight, Dark City. Oh god, I remember that as well. Yeah, I used to have that in individual issues. It was Peter Milligan and Kieran Dwyer's Dark Knight, Dark City. The Riddler is infamously bloodthirsty in this story arc from the main book, as the character colludes with occult forces in his efforts to finally prove supremacy over the world's greatest detective. Sounds good. Then we have Arkham Asylum, Living Hell. I don't know this one, haven't read it. It says here, created by Dan Slott and Ryan Sook. Interesting. Okay, Arkham Asylum Living Hell puts a spotlight on the hospital's employees and inmates. Don't know. Then the classic Batman and Dracula trilogy. Red Rain, Bloodstorm and Crimson Mist. The Elseworlds title. Do you remember those? Doug Monk and Kelly Jones comic. So cool. I've actually done this is one of my earliest videos. I did like a kind of audio comic. I did a read through of it live as well. So I think it was, no, not live. I record it all together, so it's quite long. It's about 45 minutes if you ever fancy listening to Gray trying to read Batman Red Rain. Then we've got Batman Damned, the famous one. Is that the most famous for showing Bruce Wayne's dong? DC's Black Label Damned took Batman in dark, occult directions that the character usually avoids. This one was written by Brian Azzarello and illustrated by Lee Bermejo. Damned revolves around the Joker's apparent demise and a Batman who's got no memory of his archfoe's death. That's right, he gets help from Constantine, Zatanna and Swamp Thing. Still haven't read that, apart from the first issue. Just a couple more. Black Mirror, which was a great Scott Snyder penned detective run well, not short, it was quite a long story when Dick Grayson is Batman. He's taken over the cowl, the mantle. Killing Joke, of course, no, what can you say? What needs to be said? What hasn't been said about that? Alan Moore, Brian Bolland, fantastic. Arkham Asylum, A Serious House on Serious Earth. Grant Morrison, Dave McKean, absolutely bonkers but gorgeous art. Night Cries, don't know this one. This is the last one that's listed. Archie Goodwin and Scott Hampton writing and art in Night Cries. Okay. Batman is falsely implicated. He turns to a traumatized young girl to solve the case and clear his name. Interesting. Okay. It says here it tackles child abuse, one of the bleakest and most sensitive crimes that plague the real world. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so there we go. Have you read those? Anybody? Anybody there? That's the news. That's the comic book news. Konnichiwa, Eric. How are you doing? Good morning. Good morning to you. Good evening from Japan. I hope you're genki. Yes, I'm doing good, thank you. It was great being on Thinking Critical with Wes and you and the panel last weekend. Still recovering from the lack of sleep now, I'm joking. It was so much fun and great to see you, man. Black Mirror is excellent, isn't it? I think it's one of Scott Snyder's best Batman stories. Interesting that it was, Dick Grayson, not Bruce Wayne as Batman. So yeah, do recommend that if you haven't read it, people out there. And that's about it for the show. Just wanted to do, kind of run through of last week and what's coming out this week. Great to see you in the chat. I know this is an early time, so I don't get very many people watching this time, but for anyone who watches this on on the replay, thank you very much for watching this long. I appreciate it. Eric saying James Gordon Jr. is one of my favourite modern bad guys. And Mick Cope is saying that going to have to check out some of those Batman stories that went under my radar. Yeah, me too. Me too, Mick, yeah. Interesting. I'm trying to think of any that might have been missed. What about The Long Halloween? Maybe not one of the darkest ones, but it's very, very good, isn't it? It's an excellent Batman story. And I'm not sure about Hush. Not the biggest fan of Hush. Shocking, right? Okay, so that's about it. All that leaves me to say is thank you very much for watching. It's great to see you in the chat. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for your support. I hope to see you in a future video. And let's hope we get some good comics coming out this week. So all that's left to say is... Mata ne.